Hi, you guys. My name is Faye, and I need a vacation, and I think you do too. So let's distract ourselves with some social media nonsense. Oh my God, you guys. Today we're going to talk about the Danish deception, or what I like to call desperation and delusion. When I tell you, it has to be the most insane story I've heard ever since Risa Tisa. Shout out to her. Let's get into it. So I'm going to give you guys a micro summary of what happened, and then we're going to kind of go through everything as it played out. So basically, this lady, she's a Nigerian American. Her name, I believe, is Onyeka. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She got scammed. That is, her and all her family and friends got scammed out of about $300,000 by a Danish man, which is why she called this story the Danish deception. That's the short of it. I do have to say though, in my opinion, there's not a lot of deception involved at all. Like, that's why I said it should be desperation and delusion, because honestly, this man did not have to do a whole lot to scam her. I don't even know if it's fair to say she was scammed. I never victim blame, but she does not make it easy, y'all, and we'll get into that. Basically, Onyeka, I have to say, she was the perfect victim. She comes across as very pick-me, male-identified, very, I'm not like the other girls. The way she narrates the story is honestly very bizarre as well. Like, that's the first thing I thought. She's literally talking almost like I am, like, hi, this is the Danish deception, and yeah, my ex, and I met my ex, and this is gonna be the most romantic story, and it takes a turn. Like, she's just so happy, and like, it's like you would think she's about to tell you this positive romantic story. She even describes the story as romantic, and that just makes me think that she has not really processed the situation or healed from it. Like, she's still deluded in a way, if that makes sense. I also noted that she mentioned Risa Tisa a couple times throughout her series, and that just rubbed me the wrong way. The girl claims it's about reclaiming her power, empowering victims, protecting other potential victims from this man and other men like him, but it really seems like she also wants to just get her lick back. That's number one, which I totally understand. But also, it does seem like a money grab, like her wanting clout, her wanting the views, the clicks. And the fact that she keeps mentioning Risa Tisa and comparing herself to her just really confirmed that to me. I didn't like that. I mean, I loved Risa Tisa's story. That lady, like, she was just lightning in a bottle. Like, I was addicted to it. And we're going to get into this more later, she actually took accountability. She was very straight up. She let us know, like, guys, I was so stupid. I was so dumb. I was vulnerable due to like religious trauma I had. I was lonely. I was desperate. I was desperate, and she actually took some of the blame. And she, like, even the whole way she told the story, like, she seemed very somber, very just like, even like, just very upset with herself at times as well. And she called the guy Legion, like the demon of all demons. Like, and that to me made way more sense than Onyeka referring to him as my ex. And yeah, enough rambling, let's get into the story. So a little bit about Onyeka, and again, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She worked at an accounting firm when all this was happening, which I have to side-eye her even more, because I feel like as an accountant or someone who works in an accounting firm, you should be familiar with financial scams and lover boy schemes and everything else, but whatever. She also said that she was in real estate, which, again, how are you a real estate agent and all this has happened? We're gonna get there, guys, and trust me. So basically, she was working 2 jobs. She was really exhausted, so she decided to take a vacation to Croatia with her friend. There, they were at some beach club. They were laying there sipping cocktails, and she noticed this man, this drop-dead gorgeous, according to her, super attractive man, very tall, white, blue eyes. But yeah, she noticed this man, and he literally stopped her in her tracks, and she had to double take, and she's just going on and on about how attractive he was. And that to me is already the first red flag. Like, why as a woman, are you double taking for man? I feel like no man could be that attractive to me where I would act like that. I mean, women are supposed to turn heads, you know, not men, not guys. Like if I see a guy that's super handsome or super tall, if I even notice him, first of all, I'd be like, oh, he's really tall, or you know, that's a very handsome guy, whatever. But she's like ogling this man, to the point to where he comes up to her. He offers to buy her and her friend, and he's with his best friend as well, a round of mojitos. And she's like, yeah. And I said, yeah, because who doesn't love a free mojito? And again, like, girl, it's a drink. Like you've been telling us you make so much money, you make 6 figures a year, like you can't afford a cocktail. Like, I don't know, like maybe this is just me, but I would be creeped out by that. I don't know. Like when I'm on vacation, to me, every man is a potential sex trafficker. So like him even coming up to me, trying to offer me anything, I would be like, no. No, sir. But maybe that's just me. They were talking, drinking cocktails, and the guys were asking them, like, what do you guys have planned? What are you going to do? And they literally sit there and tell these strangers, these strange men, what they're doing, where they're going to be doing it. This is the restaurant we're going to. And again, I'm like, what about safety? Like, this is not safe, ladies. And then at the end of their interaction, Onyeka literally asks this man for his Instagram. Again, girl, you are not supposed to be chasing a man. Why are you asking him for his contact information? He should be asking you. If he wants you, he will come get you. So that already, like I said, he didn't have to really scam her. He only even approached her because she, you know, had to be staring at him. And then she asked him, like, can we exchange Instagrams? Whatever. So they decide to go out to dinner, the 4 of them. And then Onyeka comes up with a game where the man that she was so attracted to was supposed to describe his dream girl. And then her wing woman, you know, after he gives his description, jumps in and goes like, oh, like aside from being a very good cook, Onyeka checks all those boxes. And here Onyeka goes, for the right man, I totally learned how to cook. Like I said, pick me behavior. Like, girl, like, stand up. Where's your pride? So after that, the guy hits her up on Instagram. He invites her to go to Ibiza with him. She declines because now all of a sudden she doesn't want to make it easy. Some time goes by, then he invites her to the south of France and she accepts. The thing is, it's a work trip for him, and we'll talk more about that later. After she accepts his invitation, he assures her that he's gonna arrange and pay for everything. So he asks her for her passport. This girl literally took a photo of her passport, her US passport, one of her most important identifying documents, and she sent it to a stranger. Someone she has seen a total of like less than 48 hours. She sends him her passport. And not only that, like it's not even a secure service. She sends it through Instagram, which is Facebook, which is Mark Zuckerberg. Like, who does that? Like, she was not worried about getting scammed, not worried about identity theft. Like, she's just like, yeah, here's my passport. Crazy. Personally, again, like I said, I would always be worried about human trafficking, identity theft, but that's not her. So a month goes by until the trip. They're talking on the phone for several hours a day. Mind you, they're not FaceTiming. And again, Onyeka posits this as something very romantic because they wanted to save it for when they see each other, like acting like they're about to get married and it's the night before the wedding. Like, it's very bizarre. And I don't know, the fact that he was okay with that, for me, is another red flag. Like, what man who is like super infatuated with you, interested in you, doesn't want to see your face? Like, he's just okay with like being on the phone with her. Weird. One of the things they talk about is that he just got out of a 4-year relationship 4 months ago. For Onyeka, this is not worrisome. It's not a red flag. She actually is relieved because she feels like, oh, some time has passed. I don't see how that makes sense to her. A 4-year relationship, like 4 months, is nothing at all. Like, I feel like you would have to have been single for at least a year before I would ever entertain you. But she's like, oh, that's good. You know, time has passed. So the trip comes up, she goes, he picks her up from the airport. Apparently he calls her Bambi. I don't know, weird. They are sitting there like going at it at the airport in the taxi, like just making out to the point to where she's concerned that the taxi driver is going to feel uncomfortable. And then she brags about how they got to the hotel and they got closer several times, which again just shows me she's delusional. Like, remember, this man scammed her and everyone she remotely even knew out of $300K, and here she is like a lovesick schoolgirl just gushing about having sex with this man. And like I would be disgusted, I would be ashamed, like in my very soul, that I ever let him touch me. And she's like, yeah, you know, we did it a few times, and sorry mom and dad. I'm like, this girl is crazy. So since it was a work trip for him, he let her know that he's not going to be able to take her to all of the events, which again I find strange. Like, I don't know why he would even invite her on a work trip or why she would accept. But I mean, obviously he's a scammer, and he probably just thought, you know, let me just maximize this free trip, you know, because work trips are free, and let me milk this girl for some cash. What I thought was also a red flag was that she goes, oh, like one of the events that he tells her, he can bring her to one of the events, and it's like a business cocktail hour or something. And then when she tells him that she didn't bring anything appropriate to wear, he just goes, hey, we're in the south of France, just wear whatever. Now, he has presented himself, I forgot to mention this, I think, as a wealthy man to her. Like, he can't buy her any clothes. Like, he invited her on this work trip. Not only did he fail to mention, like, hey, there's going to be a business cocktail, bring clothes. Like, he didn't even say, hey, you know, that's my bad, let's go shopping, I'll buy you something. Like, again, very strange, doesn't seem in line with a very rich man. Now, get this. He's not only claiming to be a wealthy man, he also tells this girl that he is a royal. A royal, ladies and gentlemen. He literally claims, I have to keep repeating it, he has a royal title, and his family is super wealthy, and they have a family trust. And if things go good with them, mind you, again, this is the third time they've met, if things go good with them, she's gonna meet the queen. And he asks her how her etiquette is, and she is just like eating it up. Like, she's not questioning anything. She's not critical at all. He sends her some order, some like royal order, like a link or whatever, and then she does click on it, scroll through it, and she finds some random who shares his last name, and she like goes, and like I said, he didn't have to scam her. He didn't even have to tell her anything. She like brought it up to him like, oh, is this your great 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 grandfather? And he's like, now you're getting it. It's crazy to me. Like, if someone said that to me, like, I would laugh, and then if I thought they were serious, I would actually research the hell out of that. And also, for me personally, that would have been a red flag. Like, oh, like I'm like, no, I don't do royalty. Like, I don't like the entire system, like, down with the monarchy. But she's like, oh my God, like, he's a royal. Like, you could just tell that she thought she was gonna be the new Meghan Markle. So one day they're sitting there talking, they're at another event with his business colleagues. I don't know if this was at a party, a restaurant, whatever, it doesn't matter. Also, I have to say, you guys, forgive me if I get like some of the things wrong or mixed up, like the timeline wrong. I only watched the series once, and when I started watching it, I was not watching it with the intent of making a video, but as things got more and more bizarre, I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna film this. So I only watched it one time. So forgive me if anything's wrong. But yeah, at one of the events, and his colleagues are there, they start talking, and he tells her how much he loves his mother. And she's like, oh my God, a man who loves his mother. This is like groundbreaking. Like, I have to just secure this man. And she right then and there starts sobbing, like bawling her eyes out, and tells him that she loves him. And this is like the fourth day that they've seen each other, and like even he is like flabbergasted. Like he's like, oh, that's nice, thank you for telling me, I appreciate that, I will say back to you, but like not right now. And for her, that was just like so romantic. This girl has no shame. Like, she's sitting there sobbing in front of like all these strangers, colleagues. And like for you to tell a man you love him first, again, crazy. Who does that? Scamming her must have been easy work. Also, Onyeka tells us that the hotels he had her staying at were very nice, and she's stayed at 5-star hotels before, but nothing like this. And she actually took the time to look up the prices of the hotels, but not if he's even a royal. Let that sink in. And further, she goes and tells him, oh my God, I've never been anywhere this nice. Like no one's ever done anything like this for me before. Why? Why would you tell a man you're not used to anything? Like, I don't know. It's like bizarre to me. In the same vein, he takes her shopping and he's like, girl, I got you. Buy whatever you want. Pick whatever you want. I want to get it for you. So he takes her to Chanel, Cartier. He takes her to, I think she said Dior, Dolce. Like he takes her to all the luxury designer spots. She falls in love with the Dior bag, but her not being like the other girls, you already know what I'm gonna say. She tells him like, oh yeah, this is nice, but you know, I don't want it. And in the end, she settles for a pair of 200 euro Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses. And he goes, wow, you're cheap. And she takes this as a compliment and tells him, yeah, I'm just a simple girl. If a man told me I was cheap, when I tell you, I would be so offended. I'd be like, let's run this back. We're going to all the stores again. No, sir, I'm not cheap. Yeah, but she thought it was a compliment. She, you know, was really working that I'm not like the other girls angle. When I tell you, if that had been me, that would never have been me because I would not, you know, do all that with a stranger. But let's just pretend if that had been me, the scam would have ended there. I would have pulled the most expensive things, like in every store. I'm getting everything I want. Like, and I have expensive taste. Like, point me to any store. Like, it's not about a brand. It's not about a specific designer. Like, it could be like a fabric store. It could be a China store. And 9 times out of 10, I am pulling the most expensive item just because I like and love nice things. So when I tell you, I would have ran his credit cards up. He would have been like, ooh, this is not going to work. I need to leave this one alone. Like, he would have had no idea who he's dealing with. Like, you do not have to ask me twice. Trust and believe. But yeah, like I said, she just took her little bitty sunglasses. She also tells us how she only spent 15 euros on that entire trip. And like he wouldn't let her pay for anything, not even ice cream. And she was just so uncomfortable by that. And again, girl, like, I don't know if this is like a serious issue of self-worth, that she really believes that she doesn't deserve nice things and she doesn't deserve anyone to do anything nice for her, or if she was trying to scam him and get him for his money and his title, and she thought the route of, oh, like, I'm a simple girl, I'm not with you for your money, I couldn't care less about that, like, that would be the most successful way to go. Like, I can't really make up my mind. So then something very bizarre happens. They're at dinner. She goes up to use the restroom and then she just blacks out and falls. She does say that she's clumsy naturally and she was wearing a dress that had her tripping a lot of times, but like it makes no sense because like usually when you fall and trip, like you can remember the fall or like at least what caused the fall. But she just said, I was walking and I blacked out. Which to me, I was like, oh my God, did he drug her? Like, did he roofie her? Like, this is crazy. But yeah, she finished telling the story and she does not, like, it seems like that thought had never crossed her mind. Basically, what happens is she keeps on fainting, going in and out of consciousness. At some point, she was able to communicate to the waiters that they should go get the boyfriend, which again, like, why didn't he come check on you if you were gone for that long? She also says she was lying in a pool of her own blood, like, because she injured her head, and as well as her own urine. And mind you, she's laying there and her thoughts aren't like, oh my God, like, what happened? How did this happen? Like, do I have brain damage? Like, am I gonna be okay? Like, no. She's worried about this man. like, oh my God, he's like my man and he's seeing me bloody and in a pool of urine. Oh my God, like that's her concern, which again, I can only attribute that to desperation, delusion. Like it's very bizarre. She also ends up having to get stitches. Oh, and I almost forgot, while she's laying there, like in her own bodily fluids, he chooses that point in time to tell her that he loves her, which she finds so romantic. And she felt like God sent her this man to protect her. Mind you, he didn't protect her at all. And I don't know, something about that just is not sitting right with me. I feel like maybe he did put something in her drink, like who knows what his motives were. And like he said that I love you to make sure she is still under his spell. It's weird to me. Like I would have thought that they took her blood at the hospital. Like maybe you have to tell them that there's a possibility that you have been drugged for them to test your blood for that. But I don't know. I think the whole situation is very weird. And she does say that she has lasting brain damage to this day, which she downplays. She's like, yeah, I can't really say what's in my head and the words I want to say. I forget what I want to say a lot. I use a lot of filler words, but like my brain is fine, guys. Like again, like she's not serious, this one. So after that incident that happened during the last night of their trip, the vacation has ended. They have both decided that they are in a relationship. And what's very creepy to me, and again, she just found so romantic, is that this man had already booked a flight to her hometown, which is Dallas. Like, and he told her he was just so sure that it would go so well between them. And she, again, is eating it up, thinks that's the most charming thing. Like I've said, I would have been creeped the F out. Like, this is insane. Like, stalkerish even, but she liked it. When she gets home after this vacation, like, it can't have been more. It sounds like it was like 5 days, but anyway, when she gets home, she makes it a point to call her parents and tell them that she is in love. And she keeps like emphasizing the fact that he's Danish, which to me reads as that like she really was desperate not only for a man, but for a European man, perhaps a white man. I don't know. But she's like, I'm in love with this Danish man. He's Danish. And whatever. He ends up coming on the trip he already booked. She picks him up from the airport. Again, she's waiting on him with a sign that says, welcome, my Danish man. Why? Like, that's weird. Like, it really seems like she was obsessed with him being Danish. And I think that might have been like another reason why she was so easily scammed. She also tells us that she cooked a lot of Nigerian food for him, and she was just so like enraptured with the fact that he ate all of her Nigerian food, and he even liked the spices, guys. He liked seasoning. Like, oh my God, this white man liked spicy food. And again, it just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. There is like this racial undercurrent there. I don't know. It's bizarre. Now, Onyeka introduces this man to her family and friends. Do you know this man sat there and told them that he is a former Olympian? Yes, he went to the Olympics twice for handball. And then Onyeka is even more like obsessed. She's like, you really went to the Olympics? Like, did you get a medal? And then first he pulls it back a little bit and he goes, well, I was in the back of the back. I was a backup player. I didn't even play. But then also he confirms that yes, he did get medals, not one, but two. He got a bronze and was it a silver or a gold? Whatever. He got 2 medals, and of course, the one medal he gave to his mommy, and the other medal he gave to charity. What is charity gonna do with an Olympic medal? I don't know. Also, how did you get those medals if you didn't even play? Like, was it just a collective medal for the team? Onyeka also does not research this. She does not fact check. She just takes him at his word. So now he's a royal, wealthy, and a two-time Olympian. So when the trip ends, they were both very depressed. Again, that is such a strong word for someone you've known for a month and have seen in person 5 times. And he tells her that they need to start thinking about their long-term plans. And this lady offers to move to Denmark for him. Mind you, she lives in driving distance of her family. She, it seems, has a very large support system, many friends, loving family. She had a career that was going for her, actually 2 very successful careers, but she offered to move to a different continent with this stranger. Again, of her own volition. And even he was like, girl, no, you don't have to do that. I'll just come to the US. Which again, I would be like, does he want me for my citizenship? Like, is that what's going on? She never thinks that. Some time goes by and, you know, because he's rich, he brings up this apartment complex that he wants to buy, and he asks her for her opinion and lets her know that that apartment complex would take up a lot of his cash liquidity, and also like he would have to sell some crypto or like stocks or whatever. And then, you know what she says? She goes, well, if I need to take on more financial responsibility in this relationship, that's fine. Ciao. Like I said, did he even scam her? Like, let's be so for real. Did he scam her? So they plan a second visit for him to come see her in Dallas. And he starts kind of soft launching, asking her for money. He informs her that he did buy the apartment complex, but now he has discovered a lot of structural issues that could actually be dangerous, and he needs a lot of money to fix those. To be precise, he lets her know that he's going to need $50,000. For some reason, he doesn't have that. Immediately, this girl raises her hand and asks him, please, can I give you 50K? And he's like, no, I would never take money from you. No, like, please don't even mention it again. So some time goes by and he said, okay, I don't need 50 anymore. I need 30. Again, she's like, can I give it to you? He's like, no. Then he goes, okay, I don't need 30 anymore. I got it down to 10. Onyeka offers to give it to him again. Because apparently, and this will come up later again, she actually had a very sizable savings account, and she was doing very well financially. Like, her house was paid off, like she paid off her student loans, like she was very good actually. But yeah, she offers again and he's like, no. And this is where the emotional manipulation becomes even more transparent. Not to her though. So, because he's basically saying like, listen, I'm only gonna come and see you, my love, if you give me the money. So again, she asks him, can I please give you the money? And he's like, well, only if you're sure, like, promise me that you're comfortable. Promise me this will be the only time. Spoiler alert, it was not the only time. She gives him the money, $6,000. Personally, like, bizarre. Why are you giving anyone money like that you do not know, that has not been in your life for several years? Number two, why are you giving a man money? Number three, and this is just like what I was thinking with a Tinder swindler as well. Okay, you are telling me you are wealthy, not well-to-do, not rich. You're saying you're wealthy. You're also saying you're owed money, you are royal, and you need $50,000. Honestly, that should be peanuts to you. What do you mean? Like you should have that as a wealthy person. That should be just like, I don't know, a shopping trip less for you. That should be like a watch you're not going to go out and buy. And then if you don't have it, what about your wealthy royal family? Again, this should be nothing to them. Like, they shouldn't even like blink, you know, at that sum. But then if they don't have it, what about your wealthy friends? What about, you know, the rest of your family members? Like, Onyeka should have been the last person in the entire world that this man would take money from. But she, like, it's not clicking to her. Like, for her, this makes perfect sense that this wealthy man would ask her, would not only not have 50K, but would ask her for it. Like, Crazy. Now, magically, like 2 days after the transfer goes through and she gives him the money, wouldn't you know it, he's booked a flight and he's landed in her, in her town. So basically, she paid for his flight, she paid for his vacation there. And she also makes sure to let us know that time they didn't really do a lot. They just stayed in and she cooked. So he probably, had some money left, I would say, after the trip. While he's there, he asks her what she would think about going ring shopping. Yes, ring shopping after, again, knowing each other for a month. So they go ring shopping. And again, it's one of these things where he is insisting on buying her a natural ring, like a natural diamond engagement ring. And she's like, no, I would never let you spend so much money on a ring. Like, I only want a lab-grown diamond. Again, just going further with this, I'm not like the other girls. I'm a simple girl shtick. No idea why. You can't even say that she doesn't like nice things or she doesn't appreciate the finer things in life because, mind you, she wanted a Dior bag. Mind you, she had told him also that she was going to go out and buy a Chanel bag while she was, in Europe, which she did. So she's just like play acting basically and making herself an even bigger target for him and letting him know that he doesn't even have to invest so much in the scam. Or like I said, she might have some serious issues with self-worth. Cause like, you can't even say it's a moral thing. Like she doesn't want blood diamonds because there are real diamonds that are not blood diamonds, thank God. And again, this could not have been me. Like I would have picked the most gorgeous, the most beautiful, and unfortunately the most expensive ring in there. And I really wonder what he and men like him would do if they met someone like me. But then again, I think they know how to pick their victims. And I think people like, let me just assume you and I, they would never consider for this little scam. So they talk about going to South Africa because that's something they both want to do. And he tells her to look up flights and lets her know that he's only going there first class, which of course is a lot of money. And she again goes, no, we would never, we're gonna go coach. So he's like, oh, then let's not go at all. See, like again, keeping up this pretense that he could afford to do all that. And it's just her that doesn't want to do it. So stupid. Also, Onyeka, what do you have against flying first class? Like, what's the deal? They come up with a different destination. I forget. It doesn't matter. But he does have to cancel. And it's really funny because after they pick the new destination, he tells her, yeah, just pick everything out, send it to me, and I will make the bookings, aka pay for it. Some time passes and she asks him, well, did you book everything? And he goes, no, because, from my time as an Olympian, I injured my back and now I have to get back surgery, so I can't go. How convenient. So Christmas comes around. They had planned for her to finally come to Denmark, meet his family, see his home. But wouldn't you know it, she can't come because his father is in the hospital. And when she's like, listen, I want to come, I want to support you, I want to be there for you, he's like, oh no, also remember my back surgery. Like, I don't want you to see me like that. And she, like, this is the first time where she's actually questioning him and she's like very upset. Like, he's not treating me like family. Girl, you're not his family. And she's upset that he's not letting her be there for him. But he's very adamant that he doesn't want her to come because his father and his back surgery. And that's actually one of their first fights. Christmas comes around and then he tells her he had this big argument with his family to where they were in the hospital after he had gotten his back surgery. And like, apparently he does not get along with his older sister. He has no relationship with her. He tells Onyeka that the sister is very disrespectful and abusive to the mother, like beats her. And that's why he can't have a relationship with her, to the point where they have to alternate Christmases. Like, one Christmas he'll get to spend with their family and the other Christmas she'll get to spend with the family. So anyway, they're sitting around their father's hospital bed, and then the sister asks him where he's spending Christmas. And then he tells her, well, not with you, bitch. Like a housewife. And it erupts into a big argument. And Onyeka's takeaway from this is not like, why are you talking to your sister like that? why are you calling her a bitch? Like, is that how you speak to women? And this is like really bizarre. Mind you, he just had back surgery. But she's like, yeah, why is she so mean to you? And you just had surgery. And he also claimed after that argument, he stormed out of the hotel room. He stormed. Like I said, he just had gotten back surgery, but he stormed out of the hotel room. Like, I know people who have had back surgery, and like some people, they had to stay in the hospital for weeks, and then they had to go to separate facility to retrain their muscles and like continue their healing. And even the ones who were able to go home after a few days, they were not running, they were not storming. So, but Onyeka never questions this either. So their relationship carries on, and I forgot to say they were in a relationship from 2022 until 2025. So it was several years, but the relationship just carries on. He is the one consistently coming to visit her. And wouldn't you know, before every visit, something totally terrible happens. Like, it'll be like 2 days before the visit, and he'll call her like, oh my God, I just got the most terrible news you would not believe. And it's always a big crisis. It's the uncle died, the father is sick again, he is sick, this happened, that happened. And it's always a reason why either he can't come to see her, or a reason why she cannot come to Denmark to see him. Personally, I would have been over that after that happening like 2, maybe 3 times. Onyeka is still not questioning a thing. So remember, she had given him 6K. She never got that back. He never mentioned that again. But ever since that ceiling was broken, so to speak, there are always these crises and emergencies to where now he has to ask her for money. It's his apartment complex. There was a fire, and now there's no electricity, and he needs to pay an electrician 5K. And then it's, oh, my insurance just billed me a crazy amount. Or, oh, I have to pay back taxes. I have to invest in the business of a friend to help him out and save him from his business partner so he can buy him out. My transfer from my business account to my personal account hasn't went through. My family's cut me off because we're in a fight. I need money. I need to help out a friend. I need money. For some reason, she is always a first resort. Like, she is the one to step up and save him, put on her cape. And after every one of these crises, like, she just gives him the money. She's like, yeah, I have a lot of savings, gives him the money. Yeah, I can afford this, gives him the money. Well, he's my fiance, gives him the money. And as she's narrating the story, she always makes it a point to say, but I wasn't worried at all. But I still trusted him. Like, girl, at what point were you going to get worried? And mind you, there was never talk of her getting her money back. But every time he asked her for money, he'd be like on her, like, have you made the transfer? Have you transferred the money? Remember, I need this money. She never got hers back though. So, they were looking at rings already. He ended up proposing to her. No ring, because he couldn't afford it. Not only that, like, he made no effort, took no care, like, whatsoever. Like, he didn't even have just like a gold band or even a silver one, like nothing. He had nothing. He proposed to her empty-handed, and she was okay with that. Like, he couldn't even afford the lab-grown diamond. He didn't even do like a nice grand gesture with, like, I don't know, flowers, letters, candles. He did nothing. He just, basically, they were sitting on the couch. He's like, can I marry you, girl? And she's like, yeah, oh my God, this is so romantic. So they ended up getting married. Yes, she married this man at the courthouse, and they did like a little honeymoon in Oklahoma. It's very bizarre though, because at this point they were already married, but it's only after they were married that she is now having him ask her father for his blessing, for her hand in marriage. And they've now started planning 2 weddings with her parents. They were planning a white wedding, which I take to be like a traditional American wedding, and they were planning a Nigerian wedding in Nigeria. But they're already married. But they're lying, essentially. That's what I took from it, to her parents, to her family, by pretending they're not actually married. And by having him fake ask for their blessing and like for her hand, and every time they're both like in like visiting her, like he would stay at a hotel, because remember, they're not married. Like, it's, when I tell you, the most bizarre situation, like crazy. So of course he ended up getting a green card, obviously. Oh, and also after they got married and the relationship was solid, she hard launched him on Instagram, and she had all these Danish accounts following her all of a sudden, looking at every one of their stories, including his ex-girlfriend, like, who also had a picture of his dog on her Instagram. And anyway, when she approached him about all the Danish accounts following her and like liking everything, he just told her to block them because they're haters, and yeah, she shouldn't even let them have access. So that's another red flag. So after some time has passed and she has given this man thousands and thousands of dollars, she is finally allowed to visit him in Denmark. So she gets there and was very surprised to find that his family home was very small, humble, like it was not giving royalty, it was not giving wealth. But she rationalized that to herself and to us. Even after everything happened, she's sitting here telling us that, well, in Denmark, a lot of the homes are small. So, girl, not homes of the royals. They live in mansions. They live in palaces. They do not have small, humble homes. Like, what's going on? What's not clicking? But she just completely accepted the fact that these royals are living in this very humble, very basic, very common, no shade, like, I mean, like, common people home. That made sense to her. Oh, and what he told her was that yeah, my parents, they do have the money, but they're just cheap and they don't want to renovate. So he took her around to meet all his friends and family, and at one hangout she ends up talking to his best friend. And he actually tells her, because like they wanted to go out after that, like downtown. I think it was at Copenhagen, I think so. And her husband doesn't want to go. And that was weird because it was out of character, and she thought that was strange as well. So she was talking to his best friend about it, and he goes, yeah, well, he probably doesn't want to run into his enemies. She's like, enemies? So this is when she finds out that he had a major, wait for it, gambling addiction. But it was 10 years ago. But he made some serious enemies, owed people a lot of money in Copenhagen. So that's probably why he didn't want to be out and about. And when she was very shocked at this news, the best friend was like, wait, he said he told you all this before the wedding. And she's like, no, he didn't. So obviously there's this huge fight that breaks out between her and the husband. She's like, you know, confronting him about this new information, and then he ends up taking her face in his hands. And oh my god, you guys, I completely forgot to say at the beginning of the video that this man is not attractive. Sorry, I don't know, like, random thought, he is not attractive at all. Like, I saw a photo of him, maybe I'll insert it, but he's not all that. Anyway, he takes her face in his hand and goes, do you really think that's the kind of person I am? Do you really think I would do that to you and gamble away all your money? And she's like, no. So after that, she actually decides to stay with him. The money troubles continue. He still has to keep asking her for money, but he's consistently reassuring her that he's not gambling. And she believes that and just keeps giving him money, which is why I said, like, this is not really a scam. And this is all happening, mind you, in the first year of their relationship. And like I've said earlier, they were together for almost 3 years. So you do the math. Like, she knew what was up. So then he comes to her and says that the Danish, like the federal tax agency, whatever it's called, has frozen his business account. They are investigating him and his tax filings, and therefore his business account is going to be frozen for 18 to 24 months. And of course, he needs money, and of course, he needs it from her. So the investigation revealed that the husband owed over 300K in back taxes, and that the husband's parents owed over 12 million euros in taxes. And he tells her that he asked his parents for money which again makes no sense to me, because if they owe 12 million, how are they going to give you 300,000? But not only that, his parents tell him that they don't care and it's his problem. Mind you, you guys are in the same boat. Like, you actually owe more than him. Like, none of this story made any sense. But to Onyeka, it made perfect sense, which is why he ended up asking her again for money. Not the full 300K. He did his typical, bringing down the sum steadily thing. I don't know how much she ended up giving him. I want to say it was 15,000. Because she said she gave it to him over like installments of 3,000. Yeah, I think it was 15K, but like, don't hold me to that. So while all this is happening, remember, his business account is frozen. He owes 300K in taxes. His family owes $12 million. Her savings are dwindling. They are still traveling, steadily traveling all over the world. They're going to Portugal. They're going to Cabo. They're going to the south of France. They're going to Italy. Like, I can't even, let's just say they were traveling the world, all on her dime, of course. How was she paying for it? Credit cards. They just kept putting everything on her cards, which is something he suggested, and she agreed to do. So at some point, she has now ran through all her savings, or should I say they have now ran through all their savings. They're living bill to bill, paycheck to paycheck, like they have serious money troubles. They are just wishing and hoping and praying that his account will be unfrozen soon. For some reason though, he suggests to her that she should quit her job, because remember, she worked at an accounting firm as well as being a real estate agent. But obviously, since all she was doing was travel the world with him, she has not really done any real estate dealings. But apparently she was unhappy in her accountant firm, and that was where she made most of her money. I think it was also six-figure income. I want to say she was making $150,000 a year, I think. But anyway, he was like, hey, babe, you don't like your job. You can just quit. Like, I'll provide for us. I'll take care of us. Mind you, his account is frozen. He has taken several thousands of dollars from her, which she never got back. He has no money. Well, she did say that he had a very high-paying job at a firm. I don't remember which firm, but I think she said he was making 300K a year. I don't know, but also six figures. So he was still doing that. But like I said, like, they were cash poor, should we say. But she listens to him, and she actually quits her job to focus on real estate, which again, she has not even been doing. So now none of them really have jobs. They have no money. He ends up selling his apartment, the apartment he owns, and moving in with her. This is where the dog comes back up. She tells him to bring his dog, obviously, but he doesn't want to. He's like, no, that doesn't make sense. I just have someone adopt him. Red flag number 1,000. What pet owner would abandon their beloved pet? Like, that's a family member. Like for someone to do that, like, makes no sense at all. Like, no one who truly loves their pet the way this person claimed to love his dog would ever do that. Like, if there's any possibility of keeping this family member, you would. But again, she doesn't question that. It makes total sense to her, even though she has a dog herself, mind you. So he's now living in the US pretty much full time. So they decide it's time to start building his credit. Obviously, as a European who's lived in Europe all his life, he has zero credit. So what does she do? She puts this gambling addict, who again has taken so much money from her, on her credit card. And what happens? Within like the first week or so, he takes out a $7,000 cash advance. And she's shocked. Like, she's astounded by this. It turns out he gambled it all away. Also, she finds out from her friend that he scammed her friend and her husband out of over $200,000. Like, he offered to do some weird crypto deal with the husband and something about luxury watches, but at the end of the day, he took 200K for him to invest or to do whatever with, gambled it away. So again, Onyeka is very shocked for some reason, very upset. She's like crying to her friends. Now, the friends were very understanding. Like, for some reason, like, They did not call the police. They did not sue him. I can only assume that they must be extremely wealthy and that apparently Onyeka is a very good friend, because I don't know, like if a friend's husband scammed me out of 200K, like that's it. Like you will never see me again and you will have the cops at your door. But that's just me. So the husband of the friend takes it a step further and actually offers to hire a PI to look into this man. Turns out Onyeka's husband, shocker, is not an Olympian. Never been to the Olympics, and also is still gambling. Like he traced the money and it went into a gambling website. So despite all of this, Onyeka still decided to stay with this man. She does say that the husband was going to all these gamblers' anonymous meetings, like they were stacking up their savings again because he was working his job. They set up a payment plan for her friend and her husband to pay them back. And she was now having him show her all his bank statements, but mind you, printouts. And not only that, but Danish bank statements in Danish that he was translating for her. And she accepted that as proof, as if he could not have faked that or written whatever he wanted in Danish. That might have been a shopping list for all she knew. But what she did do is have him open an American bank account with Chase Bank. And at some point, I believe she had gotten so fed up and asked for her money back. And he promised to pay her back and he was just waiting. And at this point, his business account had gotten unfrozen as well. And he claimed that there were 300,000 euros in that business account. And then he was supposed to transfer, I believe, some of that money into his Chase account so he could pay Onyeka back. But again, the transfer never came, like she never got her money. He was claiming that he was ironing that out with the bank and figuring out what happened, and there was definitely money in that account and she was going to get her money. So at the end of the day, what she finally did is take his card from Chase Bank, because she like remembered his PIN from his Danish bank and figured it would probably be the same for the American bank, and it was. So she took his card, typed in his PIN, and saw the account balance. Ladies and gentlemen, this man had 34 cents in his bank account. 34 cents. They had another big argument where he ended up admitting that he gambled all the money away. She still stayed with him. At some point when they were on another vacation for her 30th birthday, his father actually died and his mother called sobbing, but he decided they should stay on the vacation and have a good time. Had no reaction to his father's death. Very bizarre. I don't know. This doesn't come up again, but I just thought I would mention it because it's just strange. So remember, they were planning 2 weddings for some reason, and the parents had offered to completely pay for the Nigerian wedding. But for some reason, the husband insisted that they give her parents 10,000. Well, first he insisted that they pay for the entire wedding, and Onyeka was like, dude, we don't have the money. What are you doing? And then they settled on at least giving her parents $10,000 for at least some of the costs for the Nigerian wedding. And what does Onyeka do? Have her mother in a group chat with this man who has been steady scamming her out of all her money, and have her give this man her banking information so he can transfer her $10,000. Child. So the mother gives him her banking information. They're waiting for the $10,000 to hit. Onyeka and the husband keep going back and forth about where the money is. At some point, Onyeka actually did a little bit of research and figured out, because he kept showing her a screenshot on his phone of the transfer, and it said transfer scheduled to be completed at this and this date. And then she sat around and logged into the app or whatever and tried to send herself a payment, and she figured out that he had falsified the screenshot. Like he had cropped out the button that says send payment or whatever. So basically he just kept planning payments in the app but never sent the money. So when she finds this out, she again confronts him. I don't even know why she kept confronting this man, why she didn't just let him gamble and scam her in peace. Like you knew that's what he was doing. Like, why do you keep bothering him at this point? But yeah, the man felt the same way. Like, he was tired of getting caught by her. He was tired of getting called out. So what does he do? breaks up with her. And like, not even just like a normal breakup. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm going back to Denmark. I never want to see you again. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I want a divorce. The only time you and I will ever speak is when it's about getting you your money. Like, I'm done. Now, when I tell you, this lady was begging, pleading with this man on her knees, please stay, we're married, I'm your wife, we can get through this, we can work through this, please, let's just please try, I'm not gonna give up on you, I'm gonna keep fighting for you forever and ever. Like, to the point where he's even creeped out and he's like, no, I'm going to Denmark. He waited until she was gone, packed up all his shit and left. Mind you, Onyeka was just being psycho, creepy, stalkerish as hell. She literally stole this man's passport and green card out of his bags. And then when he was at the airport and like she realized he had left, she called him once again, begging him not to leave. But when he remained firm on leaving, she goes, I have your passport. You're not going anywhere. And I think she really thought she did something and she had him now, but he was like, don't even worry about it, girl. I'm gonna have an emergency passport made. I'm leaving. And then when she realizes like he doesn't give a damn, she's like, oh wait, listen, I can bring the passport and the green card to the airport. Don't worry about it. And he's like, no. Like, he was so sick of her. He didn't even want her to bring his documents to the airport. Like, he rather went and got an emergency passport. It's crazy. How does the scammer break up with you? Insane. So only after this man has left her, has insisted on getting a divorce, does she finally accept the relationship is over. She begins calling and talking to all of her friends, all of her family members, finally telling the truth about what has been going on, because she didn't earlier, because he kept telling her he didn't want people to look at him differently. So she finds out that he had taken money from anyone and everyone, like anyone that she even remotely knew, he'd taken money from. And it was always a story of, oh, the transfer from the Danish account to the American account is not working. Oh, I want to surprise Onyeka for her birthday, for Christmas, for our anniversary. Don't tell her, don't tell her. Like, he scammed her little sister. He even scammed her parents. He scammed the cousin, I believe, people like from her job. Like, it was crazy. But honestly, the craziest thing to me is that he scammed the entire family and none of these people brought it up to her. But not only that, they didn't even bring it up to each other. Like, everyone just kept quiet. That couldn't have been my family. Like, I immediately would have gotten calls. Like even me, like if your man asks me for money, I'm letting you know. And if your man scams me, the whole family's gonna know. Everyone's gonna know. Like, that doesn't make sense to me how that happened. Oh, and the guy also scammed a Danish businessman. And the Danish businessman, he spoke to Onyeka and he was like, listen, it was hard work for him to scam me. Like, I made him have 15 business meeting with me. He had to give me a collateral. And mind you, he used his Rolex watches as collateral that he had told Onyeka that he was going to sell to give her back her money. But turns out he gave the Rolex watches to the businessman. And then he found out that the Rolexes were fake. And he actually filed a lawsuit against the man. Onyeka doesn't tell us more about this though, like what happened with that. She does ask him though why he never brought it up to her. And this man tells her, well, Onyeka, you're Nigerian. Of course, I thought you were part of it. After this interaction with this racist, Onyeka is not offended, like hurt by his racism. She goes, look how ironic it is that someone from this beautiful and clean and prestigious country, Denmark, would scam someone. Like I said, there's some racial fetish, European fetish thing going on. Like, it's very strange. So finally, after all that, she decides to unblock his ex-girlfriend, talk to her. Turns out they were actually in a relationship not for 4 years but for 7 years, and they had not been broken up 4 months. Like, they had broken up just like very recently. And the dog is actually her dog. So he was lying about having a dog. Onyeka also talked to his big sister, you know, the abusive one. Turns out the reason they don't have a relationship is because of his gambling. She's a police officer. She tells Onyeka that he owed so many people money, actually very dangerous people money, that were throwing bricks through their parents' windows and were chasing him with knives and stuff like that. So she used her power as like a police officer to negotiate with them and to set up a payment plan for him, which obviously he defaulted on. Like he went to China and like stopped paying them as well. Oh, and the ex-girlfriend of 7 years, like he actually not only scammed her family, her friends, he actually scammed her colleagues as well. The last thing she tells us about this man is that one of her friends told her that she caught him in public with a woman. Onyeka actually has a very nasty way of speaking about this woman, describing this woman. She says she looks like a streetwalker. Like she was so offended that he was seen in public with a prostitute, and for some reason, like that was what really upset her, not the whole stealing from her, scamming her family, her friends, everyone she knew. Like that to her wasn't shameful. She felt like he was embarrassing her by being seen with a prostitute. Like that's the problem. And she was very nasty, like I said, in the way she spoke about the prostitute. I'm like, girl, the prostitute is the only one with sense in the room. Like actually you are a reverse prostitute. Like you're John. You were a sugar mama. You were John. Like you were paying him, funding his life, and begging him. So like don't look down on the prostitute. Like she's way ahead of you. Like I would much rather be a prostitute than an Onyeka, but that's just me. Anyway, this is where the story ends. Like I said in the beginning, she took no accountability. She only talked about like how she was done wrong, but never why it was so easy for him to scam her, why she was so stupid, like what issues she had or has. Like nothing. There was no introspection, reflection happening. Very bizarre. Like I said, the way she told the story was the way she ended it, with like a creepy smile. Then apparently recently she was on Twitter and Instagram attacking Black women, claiming that they were reacting the harshest to her story. Mind you, I have seen women of all races, colors and creeds dragging her. Like I have seen everyone calling this lady out for her foolishness. So the fact that she chooses to focus only on Black women, like I said, is just, it just seems anti-Black. Like she's not all there in my opinion. Anyway, it was a long story. I had to get all this out of my system. I hope I made it entertaining for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Watch my other videos. I review the Real Housewives. I do some Housewives tea as well. So yeah, I hope so much to see you on our next vacation. And until then, have a great day. Bye.